G'day viewers, how are you? Made it halfway through the week. It's hump day. Congratulations for getting this far. Wednesday, of course, means it's time for Wangafat Wednesday, where I talk about who am I not giving a fuck about today. And today, I'm not giving a fuck about the bootleggers who are defending hyper-violent cops at a protest in Melbourne. It's an ongoing thing. It's happened for a couple of days. There's a 4-day conference called the International Mining and Resources Conference, or IMARC. And a bunch of people who are concerned about the environment said, yeah, if you people ripping the shit out of things could stop fucking throwing it in our faces, that'd be cool. And a very large group, cross-section of different activist groups, decided to blockade the event centre where this conference was going on. Now, little asterisk, of course, some form of mining, some form of primary production, some form of manufacture is a central part of our economy, and I don't pretend otherwise. But when you see the stories of the rapacious nature of these companies and the level of destruction that they involve, and the fact that we get told we shouldn't use single-use plastic bags or plastic straws when a handful of companies are causing, 3/4 of all problems related to climate change, maybe someone else should be picking up the slack a bit. So I essentially support the blockade. Turns out cops not so much, I should say. Not so much. Cops not into protest. But this is nothing new for anyone who's ever been engaged in any protest. In my youth, there were a lot of anti-nuclear protests because we all thought we were going to die in nuclear war. All the nukes is still out there, which we don't talk about as much as we should. It's really disconcerting how many poorly secured nuclear weapons are out there in the world. But now we have the existential threat of climate change, where the unanimous view of climate scientists who've had their work peer reviewed is, we're in serious fucking trouble here. Human society as we know it, I think the technical term is fucked. Like, we are so fucked. Life as we know it is simply not going to continue, and it's getting hellish already. We used to think it would be about 100 years before really fucked things happen. Then we said 50 years. More recently, people were saying 10 years might be a thing. And, now we're seeing things like flooding, fires, just terrible shit, droughts, major cities around the world running out of water. Little things like, we're used to bushfires in Australia, but, for instance, so far, and we are still in spring, New South Wales has had more area burnt out by bushfires than the previous 2 years combined. And we haven't really started bushfire season. It gets really bad around January, February, March. So, yeah, this is going to be a fucked summer in Australia. And that is basically unavoidable. Huge amounts of inland Australia running out of water. The major cities are not in a particularly great state either. And this is why people are a bit antsy about a bunch of fucking mining companies having a big fucking circle jerk. And they decided to non-violently protest. The aim was they're going to lock arms and blockade the whole event. Now, the cops say, no, actually, peaceful non-violent resistance, not allowed. We're going to start beating the fuck out of you when you don't do what you're told. This also bugs me. As I said, the fucking bootlickers go, cops should have hit him harder. It's like, well, when people say stuff online, when people sign petitions online, you go, it's clicktivism. It's meaningless. And then, okay, so you get the kids doing the school strike. Hundreds of thousands to millions of people around the world in protest. Oh, that's meaningless, not achieving anything. And actually taking a stand is, they'd write everything. The big message is, don't make waves. The media have been falling over themselves to call the protesters violent when the protest was non-violent and the cops started laying into people. Again, not a surprise to anyone who's ever been in protests. If you don't do exactly what cops do, look forward to getting the shit kicked out of you. And that's what the cops have been doing. And it's absolutely amazing to see people who think that this is reasonable. A lot of people don't think it's reasonable. When you see cops who clearly look out of their depth and are beating the shit out of people with batons who are literally just standing there, who aren't moving fast enough for the cops' liking. They're trampling people with horses. Oh, and the big story is the cops saying, oh, we've arrested 2 people for animal cruelty because they slapped horses in the faces. Horses that the cops were using as weapons. They were running over people with horses, which is, kind of fucked. And on the hurting the horses front, this has been, well, actually, at least some of the media have been slightly, really? People hit the horses? And the cops said, yep, they did. I am yet to see any video evidence of this. And I would love if someone could point me to it. And that's a genuine thing. I'm not saying, oh, prove it. I have looked at a lot of news footage, and for something that has so many cameras at it, I haven't seen any video of someone hitting a police horse. I would love to see what evidence the cops have. Not that they need it, because cops just need to say shit in courts, and it's taken as truth. Despite the fact, and now this is going to be a big shock. This is going to be a big shock to a lot of people out there, but, brace yourself and laying some truth down. Cops fucking lie all the fucking time. When they injure or kill non-violent offenders, they lie about the circumstances. It's what they fucking do. So, when non-violent resistance is not allowed, and then people get upset at some blowback from the protesters, I have to admit, I got a particular laugh about the stories of the attendees of the conference seeming to be in deep shock that the protesters hated them. It's like, but we're making money. Making money is good. What's that thing they're saying about existential threat to human civilization and life as we know it? We're making money. Making money is good. What are they upset about? The idea that these fuckers have literally just realised they're hated is pure gold to me. If nothing else comes out of it, I want these soulless fucks to really know people fucking hate them. And if you are one of these bootlickers who thinks everything the cops do is right and anyone who provides any resistance is wrong, you're a piece of shit. You're garbage, and I don't give a fuck about you.